Good afternoon. Let me start by thanking everyone for being part of our most important annual event, IvyCap Day 2021. This is one event where we get the opportunity to engage with our investors, portfolio companies, mentors, advisors, and our well-wishers. Special thanks to all our investors who have continued to believe in us and gave us the confidence to continue to perform and to achieve greater heights year over year. I would also like to thank our portfolio companies who have worked very diligently to create value for all our stakeholders. The theme of IvyCap Day this year is the multiplier effect. We believe that we have created the multiplier effect through our unique structure and model in various ways. Today, we are proud to have achieved certain very important milestones in the journey. IvyCap has created many firsts in the venture capital industry. We are the first venture capital fund in the world to have integrated an endowment fund model into the venture capital structure. We were instrumental in creating India's first endowment fund at IIT Delhi on the lines of the US universities' endowment funds. This endowment fund model is now being replicated across many other education institutions, including IIM Ahmedabad and others. We are the first and the only VC fund in the world to have support from the Alumni Trust as our anchor and sponsor. It's important to note that the IIT alumni entrepreneurs are creating a unique impression in the global markets. Over 60% of unicorns in India have at least one alumnus in their founding teams. If we rank the entire 770 unicorns in the world as on date, in the order of the background of the founders, IIT alumni founded unicorns rank number 4th. We are also the first venture capital fund in India to have received support from around 20 institutions in India, including the largest banks and insurance companies. Most of the institutions have continued to support us across our funds. We are the first VC fund in the country to have created a unique mentoring platform leveraging the global IIT and IIM alumni ecosystem. This model works collaboratively with active participation in the portfolio companies, bringing the best in class resources to our portfolio companies. We are the first VC fund in India to have integrated the SDG, Sustainable Development Goals framework, into venture capital investing. We believe that integrating the SDG framework with their 17 goals, 169 targets into our investment and portfolio management philosophy will not only create a huge social impact, it will also generate much higher financial returns in our portfolio. We are also the first AIF venture capital fund in India to have created a dragon in the portfolio, a company that returns more than 1x return of the entire fund. With that, we have been able to generate superior financial returns for our investors. What excites me personally is our sustainable endowment model that contributes to creating grassroots level entrepreneurs and innovators across the education institutions of India. The give back from the profits of the fund manager goes back as endowment to the education institutions to be utilized for funding innovators and entrepreneurs across campuses. I also feel fortunate to have support from some of the most respected people in the country in our mentor and our advisory board, who are all extremely passionate about IvyCap. One such person without whom we would not be here is Mr. G.K. Pillai, who has been our chairman at IvyCap right from our inception. Mr. Pillai is a distinguished alumnus of IIT Madras. He was a former Union Commerce and Home Secretary. He is also currently the chairman of the Road Tap Committee. Let me request Mr. Pillai to say a few words.
Welcome to the IvyCap family and friends who've joined us for this IvyCap Day. A very warm welcome to you. As I look back, 10 years has passed by in a jiffy. When we started out in 2011, little hesitantly, as the economy at that time was just coming out of the 2008 financial crisis. And I just wanted to recall a couple of incidents where we met one major insurance company, the CMD, and asked for his investment into IvyCaps. And he said, look, my experience with all the investments that the insurance company has made with startups earlier has been literally zero. All our investments have turned bad. So how do I go back to the board and ask them to make a fresh investment in a startup which doesn't have any proven track record? We had to explain our own unique system as well as put across what are the advantages that we had. And then we realized that the CMD finally went back to his board and recommended the investment and made that investment. I have to thank him for that giant leap of faith, which helped IvyCaps in the initial stages. We've had, as Vikram says, not only the mentorship, but the support program. I remember one of the promoters coming and telling us, I've got a problem with the bank. We couldn't sort it out at Mumbai. He had said, I'm coming to Delhi and I'm meeting the Minister of State for Finance. If I tell him that a former secretary to government is also with me, he will give me an appointment. Then we met him at his private office in Windsor Palace. And I remember he was telling us, he said, I don't know anything about IvyCaps or this particular startup, but where do you invest? And we said, do you invest in Rajasthan? And then we said, yes, we have some work which the startup has done in Rajasthan. So he said, tell me the details. We told him the details. He said, hold on. He rang up his constituency. He was a Minister of State Finance from Rajasthan. And he spoke to his person there and said, please find out about what they've done on the field, ask the farmers what they've done, and then come back to me within an hour. Lucky for us, and I must say the credit of the promoters of that startup, within an hour, his man came back and told the MOS, I've asked the farmers, they're all very happy with what the startup has done, and therefore there's nothing, you can support what they are asking. Because we got the support, not fully as much as we got it, but that is the type of effort that both Vikram, the whole mentor team, as well as the IvyCap management and team have put together to try and see that our startups function in a very changing environment and succeed. We've had our failures, we've learned from them, and then we are going ahead again. I'll stop here, and I would like Mr. Pradeep Gupta, who's the chairman of the IIT Alumni Trust, to take us forward.
Thank you, Mr. Pillai. Yes, 10 years has indeed gone off in a jiffy. And yes, in those 10 years, we have already shown the multiplier effect. But I think what we need to do is we need to now take it to the next level of the multiplier effect. And I talk about the IIT ecosystem, the IIT and IIM ecosystem here. As we all know, the power of any network is the square of the number of nodes which are connected to it. And I think that is the kind of a multiplier that we now need to be looking at. It is no longer just a linear multiplier, but we have to look at the squaring up the entire power of this entire network that has been created by IvyCap. You know, it's not just that it has helped IvyCap in terms of our own fundraising, because we have reached out, you know, as the IIT Alumni Trust to various IITians, and we have raised money from them. It also has helped us in putting together the mentoring pool. It has helped us in terms of access to technologies, because now we are working very closely with various institutes, and we have therefore not just the access to technology, but access to a deal flow, which is coming from the portals of IITs and IIMs. This sourcing has further helped us in terms of, you know, preparing teams for the entire startup that are being nurtured by IvyCap. So very strong teams. And then finally the exit route. So in terms of the exit route, again, in terms of whether it is strategic investments or whether it is next round of investments, and once again, the power of that entire network starts emerging. So really speaking, you know, it's been a very, very formidable and powerful ecosystem that we now need to leverage over the next 5 years in terms of getting the square of the number of nodes effect. And I think that is what IvyCap would be working on as we go along. And you know, just to illustrate an example, one of the startups, Clovia, you know, just at the time when the pandemic started, they were about to get their next round of funding, and came a call from the funder that because of the pandemic, you know, all funding decisions are stopped. And suddenly the goods that they were selling there was a big roadblock because of the pandemic. And quickly, within a period of 3 weeks, the startup reinvented itself, went into masks, used the entire power of the network to get various clearances and so on, and was back in business in absolutely no time, and actually had a sustained growth despite the entire pandemic year. So that is the kind of a success that comes up because of the problem solving abilities and the power of the network that is associated with IvyCap. And I'm sure there are many, many such success stories with our various companies that have been funded by IvyCap. And there will be more such stories that will emerge as we go along in the future. With that, I would request Anju Gupta to talk about the thing that we are doing at the ground level with the various institutes. Over to you, Anju.
IvyCap Day. One of the things that I think is the most exciting about the whole entrepreneurship journey is the unknown, the unexpected. You're always discovering something new. And to me, the next few years are extremely exciting, especially from an IvyCamp perspective, where our focus is on early stage entrepreneurs and creating engagements within the whole alumni ecosystem. And over the next few years, we look forward to really leveraging this alumni network to its full potential and creating and formalizing a bridge and its all supporting processes, starting right from the institutes where many of our ideas germinate, right up to the end user who is actually seeing the benefits. We look forward to leveraging this multiplier effect for the entire life cycle of an entrepreneur, whether it be any product or any solution. And it's amazing to work with this alumni network that is full of people, not only who have the passion to succeed themselves, but also help others succeed. So here's to a great future decade of exciting innovations, partnerships, and successes. Enjoy the next 2 days, everybody. Over to you, Madhuri.